So, could you read us an extract from Londonia?
With pleasure.
Thank you.
This is a longish extract, but I'll just read a little bit of it. This is the point where Hoxton goes to visit Bert the Swagger, who's somebody who is actually... A swagger is somebody who combs the Thames mud for items. And Bert is a particularly important swagger who also has access to all sorts of other things that finders require. The strident sound of barge horns causes Kafka's ears to crank up. We are nearly at Black Lake and our destination. A few paces on and Bert's territory comes into view. Despite his stature, he manages to command eerie respect over would-be raiders of his patch. The legs of his black-planked stilt hut are no longer immersed in mud as the tide heights have gradually decreased over the cycles. The building now stands like an angular crane fly some distance from the water's edge, the rest of Bert's domain behind it in the shape of a large metal hangar guarded by 2 board heavies by day and roaming hounds during darking time. At my approach, one of the mechs stands up and squints at me. Then he recognises my top hat and Kafka's grey hide. "Miss Hoxton!" Striding over, he wrestles the gate lock with meaty hands. "The Garvey is in the small house, he said to go up." This is not a good sign. Bert in the small house. Any lane, I slip down from Kafka and hand over the reins. The mech leads Kafka to Bert's horse parking, and I lift my long coat ends from the mud, step around the puddles and take the thin ladder up to Bert's abode. I rap on the glass of the door and his oddly aristocratic voice answers. "If it's you, Hoxton, come in. Anyone else can vertically saunter off again." Opening the door, I am greeted by the sight of the house owner, clad in a paisley silk dressing gown, tied worryingly loosely about his ample waist. "Good morning, Bert." "And to you, beauty." "You got my pigeon message?" "Indeed. 4 fine ladies in need of antique communication devices. Well, antique in age, but a technology beyond our usage at this present time. Curious that, don't you think?" Bert, a philosopher, and he's right. It is odd. Humans taking a step backwards, a technological descent. It is strange, I agree. Do you think people in that era imagined technology actually going downhill? "They didn't," he says, relighting the stub of a cigar. "Onward and forward with the next gadget. Take these phones, for example. Always bigger and brighter, more detail and definition." But what were they for, these small screens? Why are my clients so fascinated? They already appear to have telephones to contact each other. "Ah, dear Hoxton, have you not read up on the subject after I showed you these jewels on your last visit?" "No, I don't have time or light. Any I do manage currently are about improving soil and water capture." "These things of metal, plastic and glass were quite extraordinary. Just with the brushing of one's finger across the surface, you could find out, listen to, look at any article you desired to access." "Unlimited access?" He nods, a manic look in his eyes. "Virtually visit the interior of a world-famous site, watch amusing films of people's domestic creatures, find out any historical fact, learn how to make bread. But books can tell me that, and I can make bread. Ah, but there's so much more." A slight film of sweat has appeared under Bert's sandy comb-over. He leans closer. "Imagine an ocean of sexual acts available to you through that little screen, whatever your persuasion." I step back and trip over a small embroidered footstool. He grabs my arm and pulls me back, face close to mine, whiskey and tobacco breath wheezing through his overworked lungs. I push him away and present my carpet bag. "Well, while technology is rotting away in your barn over there, enjoy some paper substitutes." He stops pouring me and looks hopefully at the bag as I pull out and splay 3 lurid works. Quite titillating, but 4 devices, you say, with their necessary cabling? 4, yes, and no doubt they will require pristine examples. I can see only too well which direction this is heading in. Within reason, yes, but you have many. I was given the tour, if you recall. Yes, I have a many, but a large percentage of them are beyond any possible reconnection, their interiors leached away by rotting batteries, bodies dented, smashed, only useful for their components. I do, however, have a small collection which are completely mint with their boxes. I see. One question, Bert. Serif, how do you come to have all these items? He smooths the strands of hair that have flopped loose and smiles, revealing an array of gold teeth that would impress a Vauxhaller's gang member. Because, my dear, I had a shop that sold these very things. You did? In the sanctuary? This was long cycles before the sanctuary walls were built, when London was just London, made up of many boroughs. I left with a lot of my stock during the chaos of the final curtain and the Fascocon party took over, albeit for a short reign. I'd heard they were planning a scoop of all technological equipment, so for that and other reasons I thought the largely ignored outer zones might be a better place to disappear to.
Kate, thank you very much for sharing with Magira and me on this book chat programme your insights into your own novel, Londonia. It's had a wonderful press, and if any TV or film producers are watching this, take note, because it's a very cinematic book and would make a terrific movie or film series. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.